And we're back. Welcome to my final preview and predictions video of this international break to round off the season. This is my preview and predictions for tomorrow's matches in the European qualifiers for the Club World Cup. A reminder, you can check out all of my predictions ahead of today's games at the top of your screen right now. And before we get into it, I have to say congratulations to Portugal fans that are watching this video. A brilliant Nations League final last night. You could see how much it meant to both teams, which I really like to see, considering how much stick the Nations League gets, especially from football fans in my country of England. Really good to see how much they cared about that. And again, congratulations to Portugal. Another trophy for Cristiano Ronaldo at the age of 40. Another goal in a major final at the age of 40. And as a Manchester United fan, obviously I wanted Portugal to win that, and I'm so pleased that they did. Back to today's video though, and a reminder that after today's video we're going to have a little bit of a 2 or 3 day break ahead of the Club World Cup and the Under-21 Euros, which we will be covering every single day on this channel. So if you haven't done so already, please do consider dropping a like on this video and subscribing with notifications turned on so you don't miss out on any of the previews and predictions we've got coming up for you over the course of the next few weeks. Remember, if you want to support the channel even more, you can click the join button at the bottom of your screen as well to become a member. We're trying to build the channel up as much as we can over the course of the new season as we try and build more and more series going forward. And of course, if you haven't done so already, you can see at the bottom corner of your screen, the fantasy football for the Club World Cup is up and available right now. We're trying to get as many of you guys involved in that competition as possible. So click the link at the top of your screen, use the code on your screen right now to get yourself involved in the Club World Cup Fantasy Football. And don't forget to check out my new mini short series that I've been doing, posting all the info you need about every single Club World Cup team before the tournament gets underway. But for today, these are the matches that we're going to be talking about. We've got Groups G, H and K, all matches taking place tomorrow evening. And without any further ado, we'll just get straight into it. We start off with Group G, and the opening match is Finland taking on Poland. This is actually first against second in Group G going into this match, but that doesn't really tell you the whole story regarding this group so far, because Poland have played 2 and won 2. Finland have played 3 and have won 1, drawn 1 and lost 1. And if we're being honest, really struggled to make any sort of impact against the Netherlands at home on Saturday. That said, Poland, despite dominating their matches against Malta and Lithuania, have only managed to score 3 goals so far in this tournament, but their performances were still far better than what Finland's were when they respectively played Malta and Lithuania earlier on in this tournament as well. In terms of the team news, there are no fresh injury or suspension concerns for either side coming into this match. However, the big news that's been breaking over the last 24 hours is, of course, that Robert Lewandowski has made it public that he will not play for Poland again whilst their current manager is still in charge. He wasn't included in this squad. He obviously now is not going to be included going forward unless there is some sort of change in charge of Poland. So it's an interesting dynamic, and obviously without their talismanic striker, it provides Finland more of an opportunity to get a result here. I still think, though, that Poland should be considered the favourites. They're putting in, like I said, they're putting in good performances. They're just not quite scoring the goals that they need to. The last time these two sides met was back in 2020. On that occasion, it was a 5-1 win for Poland. Like I say, I still expect the Polish to win this one, but I'm being a little bit hesitant about it. I'm just going to go for 1-0. They haven't conceded yet so far in these European qualifiers. But like I say, Finland just didn't really show me anything to give me any confidence that they can get the result here. So like I say, it's a hesitant one. I still think Finland could produce something, but I'm going to back Poland to get the result. No hesitation around Holland against Malta, it has to be said. The Dutch win this. If Malta manage to even score, I think that's going to be a miracle in this game. The Dutch are 163 places above them. They are unbeaten in 90 minutes in all of their last 5 matches. Malta haven't even scored a goal in their last 4 matches, and this is by far their toughest opposition in a while. To be fair, they did get that 0-0 draw against Lithuania, which I'm so annoyed at myself about, because how many times have I sat here and done previews and predictions and said I do like the prospect of a 0-0, and then I bottle it and go 1-0 one way or the other. I did that with Lithuania the other day. I said 1-0 and it ended up 0-0, but at least I gave you guys enough info for if you guys back the 0-0, well done for you on that one. But like I say, Malta really shouldn't have much of a chance here. In terms of the team news, no injuries or suspensions for Malta coming into this, but Shuriev, who missed their game at the weekend, is back from his suspension. For the Dutch, I would expect Ronald Koeman to rotate some of his key players out. They've got a fair few players playing at the Club World Cup. They're not going to want to risk getting injured in a game against Malta, whichever side the Dutch put out, they'd be expected to win. So imagine the Dutch change about half their team, if not their entire team for me. Ultimately, it doesn't really matter what is going to happen in this one. The Dutch are going to win it. I'm going to go for 6-0. I think they're going to absolutely batter them. So, yeah, if you want some drama, it's whether or not Malta are going to score. For me, I don't think they will. 6-0 to the Netherlands. On to Group H, and we kick things off with Romania taking on Cyprus. Both sides coming into this match on 3 points so far. Both sides getting wins over San Marino, and both sides losing to Bosnia. But, of course, Romania have also now just lost to Austria as well. But here is the interesting thing about this one. This one's actually a pretty easy one to call because we actually have a recent head-to-head record. Something we've not had throughout the entirety of this week because these two sides were actually in the same Nations League group this season. On both occasions, Romania ended up on the victorious side. In fact, Romania won every single game in that League C group, getting 18 points. Meanwhile, Cyprus ended up finishing in third place. Romania absolutely battered Cyprus on both occasions. I think it was 3-1 away and 4-1 at home. In terms of the team news, it gets even worse for Cyprus because their goal scorer last time out, Pitas, is suspended after getting sent off in the 95th minute. For Romania, no fresh injury or suspension concerns coming out of the Austria game. And look, they were pretty much outdone quite comfortably in that one. So I'm going to go for a 3-0 victory to Romania. It should be a game that they win pretty comfortably. Don't think I need to say too much more about that one. Then we have San Marino taking on Austria. And I think we need to give San Marino a little bit of credit because I was arguably a bit disrespectful in the scoreline that I said that they would lose to Bosnia by. And it ended up only being 1-0. And to be fair, they held out till the 65th minute in Friday's game, despite facing 21 shots in the entire match. They only conceded 1 goal. So I'll give them credit for that. And to be fair, with them now being in a home game against Austria here, they've only lost 2 of the last 5 games at home. That said, their last game at home was a 5-1 defeat by Romania, who, as we've just mentioned, barely laid a scratch on Austria until the 94th minute when Romania pulled it back to 2-1. And Austria, on paper, are a better team than Bosnia as well, so I don't think anyone's going to be too surprised when I think that Austria are also going to win this one pretty comfortably and should be winning this game by a larger margin than what Bosnia did the other night. What I would say in regards to the team news is, again, no fresh concerns for either side. But, like I said about the Netherlands taking on Malta, I would expect Ralf Rangnick to change up some of his players in that Austrian lineup just to give a few more players a chance. Because ultimately, whatever team they put out here, they should be ending up on the winning side. Unfortunately, I don't even think San Marino are going to score. I'm going to go for a 3-0 victory to Austria. Which then takes us to the final group of the week, which is, of course, Group K. And we'll start things off with Latvia taking on Albania. And I know what you're thinking. Am I going to have both teams to score in a match? Well, let me tell you something. These two sides both played on Saturday. And it was a 0-0 draw for Latvia in their friendly. And it was a 0-0 draw for Albania in their competitive match against Serbia. So no, I don't think there's going to be a lot of goals in this one either. But what I will say is absolutely fair play to Albania for not only putting in a good performance against Serbia, but arguably should have beaten Serbia. In fact, they actually definitely should have beaten Serbia because they had a penalty that was saved by the Serbian goalkeeper, and Albania could have won that game 1-0. So fair play to them for the actual result and the performance that they put in. Now, what you can say is that there are some similarities as to how these sides have actually performed so far in this group phase. Obviously, Albania have played 3 games. They've played that additional extra game against Serbia, which they did draw 0-0. And both sides so far have beaten Andorra, and both sides have lost to England. However, on both occasions, Albania outperformed Latvia, beating Andorra by a larger margin and losing to England by a smaller margin. So, again, you're not going to be too surprised when I say that Albania should definitely be going into this one as the favourites. The one thing I would say is, again, I can see the prospect of Albania not scoring in this match and potentially it being a 0-0 draw. But I do think that that would be a real surprise because on paper, Albania should have enough attacking quality to break the Latvia defence down. In terms of going the other way, and in terms of that team news, it's not good for Latvia because their goal scorer in the victory over Andorra, Dario Sitz, he is going to be suspended for this one because he managed to get himself booked off the bench on both Matchday 1 and Matchday 2. Started both games on the bench, came on and got booked in both matches. So he is going to be suspended for them. Like I say, no concerns for Albania coming into this one. Again, no real head-to-head record to speak of when it comes to these two sides. So we're looking at the stats, we're looking at the recent form. And for me, like the Finland-Poland game, I would expect Albania to just about get the result here. But I'm not 100% confident. So I'm going to go for 1-0 Albania. I'd be very surprised to see Latvia score. And then finally, it's Serbia taking on Andorra, should I say. Serbia come into this unbeaten in their last 5 matches in all competitions. However, it should be noted that they have drawn 4 of them. So it's not been the best for them. Andorra, on the other hand, have only actually managed 1 point in a competitive match in the last 3 years. So again, we're not going to give them much chance here. What you would say is they did defend relatively well against England in the 1-0 defeat the other day, although England were absolutely shocking in that match, in my opinion. And obviously Andorra then come into this match with 0 points from the group so far, 0 goals in the group so far, and that is from 3 matches. No injuries and no suspensions for either side off of the games played at the weekend. Again, no head-to-head record coming into this. Look, Serbia will be disappointed that they couldn't get the result against Albania, but Andorra, we can clearly see, given the results against Albania and against Latvia and against England, they are the weakest side in this group. They're away to Serbia. There shouldn't be too much debate here. Serbia should be taking this one comfortably. So I'm going to go for a 2-0 win to Serbia, which means, for you betting fans out there, I don't think both teams are going to score in every single game. So that is my sort of bonus tip. I know I don't tend to do proper betting tips on here, but that is my feeling for this game. All these matches taking place tomorrow, I think there will be either a clear winner in every game or a 0-0 draw. I would be shocked if both teams score in any of these games. If it's going to happen, it'd probably happen in Finland against Poland. But other than that, I'd be very surprised to see both teams scoring in any of these matches. So that's sort of my little bonus one for you if you want something like that. But those are my predictions for tomorrow's matches. As always, let me know all your thoughts down in the comment section below. Don't forget to check out my new, like I say, mini short series introducing you to every single team taking part in the Club World Cup. Thank you very much for watching. As always, I will see you very, very soon for 2 brand new series, Club World Cup preview and predictions, under 21 preview and predictions. I'll see you there.